Listen to me tonight. Listen very carefully. Grace can be imparted. Grace can be what? Grace can be what? Say it one more time. Grace can be imparted. I was not born prophet. I was imparted. It may be ordained by God that I've called him into the praise. I thank God for the message of God. Consider me, count me faithful, and call him into the office of a prophet. But I was not born prophet. Early part of my life, I've never started seeing vision before. I served under, and I was imparted. I was faithful to my services. The pastor came here and was telling you how I was maltreated in his church because I followed my boss into his church. And he was sharing testimony about how things he see. Even he himself, he was the person he could have quit. But because God have ordained that I should inherit the grace that was on somebody. Because there is nothing that you're looking for that is new. Listen, you that is killing people, it is not the first time people kill people. You that is smoking, it's not the first time. You that is doing courtesy, it's not the first time. People have done it and go. There is nothing new God is yet to do. Ask this Lexus company or Toyota company, ask them whether they have any engine. It's the same engine. It's just the changing of interior and outside. New model. Ask Samsung. It's the same. Ask what do you call it? iPhone. It's the same. There's no. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. And the grace of God is not in heaven. The grace of God is on earth. If you desire a genuine grace, you can be what? Imparted. You can be imparted with the uncommon word, and you will not be poor again. You can't be imparted with the uncommon word, and you will not be poor again. I remember vividly many years ago, I was desiring God for doing big things, and every big thing I would desire was around millions. And the Lord whispered to me, my biggest seed I ever sowed, that was then, at that time, was the seed of 5 million. It's not the pastor that told me, come and sow seed. No. I just desire it. I remember, and I said that in testimony here. When I carried that money to my mother house, he laid hands on me and said, God compresses time for you. After 3 weeks, we entered into COVID-19. That was not foolishness. It wasn't foolishness because there was agitation of lockdown was coming, and I do that risk. And in the midst of COVID-19, we buy the third property. In the midst of COVID-19, I bought many of the property we can be proudly say. I bought all of them COVID-19. I did not do, what do you call it, Facebook message. I never have a time to do Facebook, online Facebook, and tell people to sow seed. I have never done. I have never do prayer meeting online before. I never. But everything I desire for came to me in the midst of COVID-19. Doors of favor was imparted on me. It's not everything you must work for. If everything you must work for, you will die before your time. It's not everything you must work for. It's not every clothes you must wear, you must pay to wear. It's not every car you must buy to drive. It's not every house you must rent. If there are things must be given to you on the platform of grace. Paul said in Romans chapter 1 and verse 11, I long to see you, that I may impart in you some spiritual gift. Did you get that? I long to see you, that I may impart in you some spiritual gift. I long to see you, that I may impart in you some spiritual gift, to the end be established. When grace is being imparted on a man, he established that man. He established that man. If there's any city I know left or right, is Port Harcourt. Because there's no weekend I don't go to Port Harcourt and Akwa Ibom. Those days by road. Because I was following my Oga, and the measure of his contact was to redeem Port Harcourt and Akwa Ibom. And every now and then, Bobizwa, Park, all of them, Godfrey, and some everywhere now and then. But when grace imparted on me, those cities have not been there almost about 8 years. I have not been there. I don't know how the road is. The grace, when it comes upon you, it cut off labor and establish you. The grace of God establish you. Watch Numbers chapter 27 and verse 18. The Bible says the Lord has imparted the Joshua by the spirit of Moses. God said to Joshua, was imparted. Joshua was able to speak to them, and the Lord said to Moses, take the Joshua, the son of Nun, and the man in whom is the spirit of God, and lay hands upon him. Lay what? Lay what? Lay what? Lay hands upon him. Lay hands upon him. Go to the next verse for me. Lay hands upon him. Lay hands upon him. Lay hands, and set him as Eleazar and the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him charge in the sight of all. Joshua became a leader not in public. He did not do campaign. Grace fetch him. Hands, lay hand on him. And what the same grace? Joshua now have ability to speak to Mu. Mu stand still, and Mu stands. Joshua have ability to say to Jordan dry, and Jordan dry. People listen to Joshua because a grace was imparted in Joshua. Grace was imparted to Joshua. Now, if you go through Numbers 11 and verse 16, the Lord said to Moses, bring the 70 elders. 70 elders. Numbers 16, 11 and verse 16. And the Lord spoke to Moses and said, gather unto me the 70 elders, and of whom that what? Thou knowest to be what? A leader of elders of the people. And offer what? An offering of them. And bring them unto the what? The tabernacle of the congregation. And everyone standeth. And the verse number 17. And I will come down and speak. And I will take the spirit that is upon you. And I will place it upon them. God did not bring new spirit upon them. He take the spirit upon Moses and he placed it upon them. He take the spirit upon Moses. Nigeria, Benin as a whole, you believe in ancestral causes. Benin as a dialect. As Nigeria, as Africa as a whole, let me not tie to Benin. We believe in ancestral things. Yes, I was speaking to a man and I said to him, this is what I saw. And the Lord said, don't say an angel. Call the name of the man. His father is his great-grandfather. I said, robot. He said, if you say robot, that was my father. I told him the man was born in about 1635. He said, yes, if you call my father name, I believe. I thought you would say an angel. You see, he believed in ancestral forces. And if you believe in ancestral forces, you should realize that grace is transgeneration. The Bible says, remove not the ancient landmarks. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 28, which the fathers have said, remove it not. Remove it. There's nothing you are looking for is outside this church. There is nothing you are looking for that is outside this church. Is it marriage? Is it big car? Is it big? There is nothing you are looking for that's outside church. Grace can be imparted in you through laying of hands, through prophetic declaration, through prophetic declaration, through prophetic declaration. Grace can be laid on you. Acts chapter 10 and verse 44. While he was here speaking, the Spirit of the Lord fall upon them. Grace. While he was here speaking, the Spirit of the Lord fall upon them. Jesus he said, the word that I speak to you, John chapter 6 and verse 3, they are spirit and they are what? And they are life. They are spirit and they are life. So while the speaking word of God, the declaration of word of God can impart in you. Ezekiel chapter 2 verse 2, he said, the Spirit enter me while he speak to me. And the Spirit asked me to rise. So declaration over your life. He said, and the Spirit enter into me. When he spoke to me, grace can enter you through laying of hands, through the declaration of the man of God over your life. The impartation of grace. The impartation of grace can come upon you. When we say receive Jesus, did Jesus come in person? No. We make you confess after us and it works. So you must develop your mind to receive grace. You can't be poor. You can't be renting all the time. Listen to me. Those who are renting in Jari in the next 5 years, you will not be my members. I knew it by everything. Because in the next 5 years, your rent you can't pay. In the next 5 years, cement will be almost about 12 years. About 12,000 naira. And single room, that Aboki rent where you 74 people stay in one room, security post. Or you stay now. If you don't receive grace now, that single room in Benin here, it's almost about 3 point something million for only single room. Because things are not going down. Dollar is 1,000, but next week dollar will be 1.11. Pound sterling is almost about 150. And things are going high. 15 mm, 16 mm is flying up. It's about 6,000 now. So you can't expect people to build a significant building. Then you will come there and be renting with 350,000. It will not work. This is a common knowledge, common thing. That is why we teach you how to manage. That's why we teach you how to think ahead. And don't get ripped with cars. It's good to drive a car. It's good to live good. But we teach you how to plan ahead. Because you see, if you don't think about the future in the year to come, you will not live in this environment. That is why I'm not afraid of gossipers. Because you see, the gossipers, the people that give me trouble, they are being relocated. When the community is developed, the community people, where they go? They move. They sell their houses and go for another bush, looking for another thing. So it's a waste of time fighting community when you know that you can give them periods of time and they will not be there. They are like a chaff which the wind drops away. But you are not the chaff. You are a man of God. You are the woman of God. Grace of God is upon you. God has destined you to be on a higher calling. He said, my little children, 1 John chapter 4 verse 4. He said, my little children, fear not, for ye are what? They have overcome. For greater is he that is in you than he that is of the world. You are not of this world. God has blessed you. God has ordained you grace upon you. In 1 John chapter 5 and verse 4, whosoever are born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcomes the world. You are not a villager. You are the city set on hill. You cannot be hidden. You are not a poor man. You are not nobody. Grace is released upon you. I pray for you this morning. Everything contradicting God's grace upon your life, if your amen is louder, it catches fire. It catches fire. It catches fire. Receive grace for expansion. Receive grace for greater works. Receive grace for wisdom. Receive grace for expansion. Receive grace for expansion in the name of Jesus.